Welcome to Risky Business, a show where we get to explore new and innovative ways to understand and reduce risk.
All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. It's been a minute since we've put out a camera version of the podcast, but Zoe and I have been going back and forth lately, talking about what fleets can do today to help reduce their risk, understand the data that the insurance industry is looking at when it comes to rating the risk and all those fun things. So we've got some more topics we're going to dive into, and I think we should just jump in. What do you think, so?
Yeah, no, I think we'll kind of pick up where we left off from the previous episodes. So I think a common theme, and people ask this a lot, is you hear, what's my return on investment? What's my ROI doing a lot of this thing, these things in safety and whatever. And really, it's not going to be instantaneously, right? Like it's more so a plan you have to put in place and kind of watch it develop over the next couple of years. So let's say you've established your business as a carrier, you have a small fleet, your drivers, your vehicles are insured, you've done all the things you're supposed to do, background checks, screenings, you have your compliance in order. I guess the next question is, people are asking, what now? What do I do? Is it time to hit cruise control? We always say no, right? But, what are your thoughts about that, Scott?
Yeah, I think it's a really good question. And quite frankly, it's one that we hear a lot from fleets when we first start talking to them. And of course, anytime you're in business, you want to know what's the ROI, right? When are you going to get back what you invested into it? And I think you really got to look at this type of investment into your data and data analytics, and taking those data analytics and comparing them to insurance trending and what the insurance industry is looking at. The first thing you have to do is you got to collect the data. You got to identify what is it that you need to understand. Where is that data feed going to come from, and how are you going to start filling up kind of the pot, if you will, with water, in this case data, so that it fills up and you can now start to do something with it. So, traditionally that's your year one approach, is just identification and ingestion of data. The second year is when it gets fun, and that's when you can start to analyze that data and kick it around and learn some things from it. And then your investment really comes back, I would say, after year three or during year three, when it comes time to really showing you got the data, you moved it forward, and now you're going to start to see some savings if you've done the right things, and some return on investment for those things that you did in year one and year two and part of year three. So it's, from my perspective, you got to be patient, and it's going to take you a good 3 years, maybe, going into the third year renewal, where you're going to start to see the return on investment from a financial perspective.
Right. Yeah. So the first 3 years are critical, to kind of seeing a pathway to success. So I think we'll kind of break it down. We'll focus on year one for right now. Right. So year one, what are three things, you mentioned collecting data in year one. So what are three things that a fleet can tangibly go out and do to help collect that data, maybe analyze that data? Or what would you suggest in year one as far as actual specific steps?
Yeah, so I would say the first step is take a look at your vendors. And when I say vendors, I'm talking about things like, where are you running your motor vehicle reports? If you're doing background checks on drivers, where is that coming from? Who is your telematics provider or your ELD provider? Really, because what you want to do is you want to pinpoint vendors that will help you take care of those services, but will also get you the specific data in the background. And I'll use a good example that we hear a lot and see a lot is motor vehicle reports, right? So anybody can run a motor vehicle report. Anybody can get a PDF or have the driver bring in a copy of a motor vehicle report or whatever. That paper file or that digital PDF is going to sit in a folder somewhere, and there are no analytics that are pulled from it. So you want to make sure, again, as an example, you have a provider that can push you the data you need so that you can create analytics around the composition of your drivers and their motor vehicle reports. Same thing with telematics. You want to make sure that you have a vendor that is data rich enough, as well as has APIs. For those who aren't technical, APIs just really, it's a pipeline to push data back and forth. So you want to pick a provider that gets you as much possible data as you can get on your telematics or your ELDs or GPS or what have you. And then another big one that I don't know if fleets have complete visibility into this, but really taking a look at all of the data that surrounds your DOT number, your inspections, your violations, your out of service, your citations, your ISS scores, your basic scores. All of those things are important too. So you want to find somebody that can get you all of that data as examples, because you have to ingest as much data as you possibly can to then build analytics around it.
Yeah, no, I think that's good advice, right? So it's everyone's got these providers, but are you getting the true data that you need? And then what can you do with that data? So MVRs is a great one. Telematics, safety standards. So I think that kind of knocks out year one, right? So it's laying the foundation, making sure you have all the right things in place, and that they can work for you, right?